Welcome, everyone, to Southern Virginia University Women's Volleyball from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by the men's volleyball coach, Coach Tom Peterson. We're ready to bring you Knights volleyball today against Wesley. Southern Virginia Women's Volleyball, big win last night in their match against Salisbury to get their Capital Conference schedule off to a good start. And they'll be facing the Wesley Wolverines today. Right now in the Capital Conference, after just one conference game for most teams, it is Christopher Newport, Southern Virginia, Frostburg, and Mary Washington all 1-0. Wesley lost yesterday at Frostburg, and of course the Knights were able to get that big win, first ever, against Salisbury. So the Knights enter this contest 1-0 in the conference, 10-4 overall. Wesley 0-1 in the conference, 12-5 overall. The good news is that Coach Peterson, that the Knights were able to pick up a all-important conference opening match yesterday against Salisbury. The bad news is in the fourth set of that match last night, Hannah Allred suffered a minor injury to her right leg, and hopefully they'll get her back in the next few days, maybe the next week or so. But obviously she will not be able to play today. That puts a lot of pressure on a lot of different individuals. Maybe some of the players that we've been seeing making contributions have to continue to make contributions, like Allison Teagues and also the freshman Lonas, but also some players that maybe haven't been getting a whole lot of playing time really have to step it up when they do get the playing time, like Lindsay Heyer, Kaylee Rath, and who knows, maybe even Emma Arnold, the 6'2 sophomore.
Yeah, it looks like Kaylee Rath will take the spot, the outside hitter spot today, and that is a blow to the Knights, but we didn't even notice that in the match last night, so we just hope it's just a minor injury and that she'll come back soon.
And as we were joking about before we started today, it's quite conceivable that last night's match could have just gone 3 sets. The Knights are actually trailing big time, obviously, in set 3 against Salisbury, but then closed to within 24-23. And if that other point had gone Southern Virginia's way instead of Salisbury, who knows? They might have been able to come all the way back, and we wouldn't have had a set 4 last night. But we did have a big win last night for the Knights, and congratulations once again to Southern Virginia picking up that opening conference matchup against Salisbury, putting into the win column, and now they'll try to go for 2 in a row as they host the Wesley Wolverines tonight.
Yes, this is an important match. Of course, again, the coaches, talking to the coaches from Southern Virginia yesterday and the day before, they thought this match might even be a little bit easier than last night. So I'm sure that they are hoping that way. The crowd's a little bit smaller today. We'll see how it goes.
And the Knights right off the bat here in set 1, trying to get that point to take the early lead. But it's the Wesley Wolverines with a kill to jump on top early.
Boy, that was a nice shot, a nice angle shot by number 6. Nice arm as well. Let's watch her to see if she gets a lot of sets.
Hotailing will go to Crockett. And that one knocked away.
Yeah, I think they're going to call a net, actually, on the setter. Pass just a little too tight to the net. She had to hit the net to try to set that ball.
And Wesley is off and running here, 2-0. Marie Crockett setting up Lonas this time. The Wolverines get it back across. Quick tip across for the Knights. Crockett will set up Lones. Little tip by Lones. Wolverines get it back across, but it is out, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, good play by both teams to pick up the tips and the roll shots. That's all important, especially in women's volleyball. There are a considerable number more tips against teams trying to get the ball to an open spot, and how you play defense in women's volleyball is very important.
Again, Wesley was in action yesterday on the road at Frostburg. They lost 3-1, while the Knights were defeating Salisbury 3-1. The set to Gwynn, and now it'll be back across by the Wolverines. McKinley Knight setting up Gwynn again. And that point will go to the Knights.
Oh, impressive. 2 swings by Gwynn. One down the line, one cross court. She could see where the block was, and got to kill cross court that last time.
And also getting a lot of playing time here in set 1. Serving right now is Delaney Layton, the senior, named to the CAC All-Academic Team, and she recorded 100 digs and 5 service aces last year.
Yeah, now that's a quick set in the middle of the court, and the Knights continue to get better at that, but that time Lonas just hit it. Well, they called that ball. It must have called a touch on that. It looked like it went wide, but they must have called a touch.
Mishit there by the Wolverines. They'll try to go for the kill. Good dig there by Hotailing. They fake going to Lonis. They go to Gwynn instead. Good block by the Knights.
Yeah. When you block, you need to see where the hitter is hitting that ball to get your hands and arms in the right spot. Good job by the Knights.
Knights coming back after an early flurry by Wesley. Now the Wolverines are kind of like a little out of sync on this particular point as Lonis almost got the kill there. That shot by the Wolverines too strong.
Yeah, it appears that the Knights are just a little bit taller on the front line there, and it's affecting the hitters.
An early timeout here.
Yeah.
With the Knights
up
on top here.
Yeah, up 5-2 now.
Are you surprised that we get a timeout just in the first 7 points of the game?
Yeah, I think after the first 2 points, maybe the Knights thought, oh boy, here we go. But now they're back in command, and the other team does need a timeout because they were, a 5-point roll. So, yeah, an early timeout, I think that is good coaching in general.
And again, obviously volleyball, like any other sport, a team sport, and in absence of Ann Hallred today, we're seeing, at least early on here, a couple of players like the senior Delaney Layton and also the sophomore Kaylee Rath from California really stepping up their play.
Yeah, and Layton, boy, that's 5 serves in a row. And out of a timeout, here's another important serve.
5-2 lead here in set 1 for the Knights. Good solid
serve.
And Gwynn with the easy kill.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that the server doesn't get credit for a very good serve when they make an overpass on the other side, but the hitter gets credit for that one.
6 straight points now here for the Knights. It'll be Crockett setting up Gwynn yet again.
Wow, I think that it's going to be a long evening for Wesley if they can continue to get the ball up to where we can just get the Knights can get a good swing on the outside.
Another good serve by Delaney Layton. It's 7-2 Knights. Good dig there by Layton.
Yeah.
Lonis. Well, that was almost going out of bounds, I thought. And that one is out of bounds for the Wolverines. That shot that Lonis hit across, it looked like it was going to go out, but Wesley went for it, and now it's 8-2 Knights.
Tynes, number 6 from Wesley, looks like their go-to hitter. She has a good arm, but that time she hit it out.
Good block by the Knights. Crockett will set up Lonis. And another point for Southern Virginia as the Knights have, I believe, now 9 points in a row.
9-2, 9 in a row.
And all with Layton serving. Another
nice
serve. Yeah. Good
and
dig.
A good dig by Layton.
Wow. Another dig by Delaney.
Pickup. Oh, they called a lift on the Knights, so side out.
So finally a point for the Wolverines to make it 9-3 after the Knights had run off 9 points in a row.
Yeah, all by Layton serving.
Crockett will try Gwynn again. And another point for the Knights, 10-3.
Yeah, a touch there. That ball looked like it kind of went along the net. Could have been going out, but you're never really sure, so there was a touch.
Mentioned Tynes, and she's actually 3rd on the team in kills. Knights on top here, 10-3. And there's a point for Wesley, a very good kill there. Just snuck it inside the line.
Yeah, there's their other outside hitters. That number 10 looks like Graves Brown.
And I do believe that she leads the team in kills with 162 heading into the game today.
So that's the player probably to watch, especially these next 3 rotations.
Good dig there by Hoteling. And Gwynn shot, I believe, down the left line, but they're going to say out, and it's 10-5.
Yep, 10-5. She hit it wide.
Almost thought that ball got tipped, though, but apparently not. Another serve by the Wolverines. They've been able to score 3 in a row. Blocked that time, but it blocked out of bounds, and the Knights get a much-needed point to snap that little streak by the Wesley Wolverines as Tiggs will check in for Hoteling. We mentioned some of the players that needed to step up with Allred's absence, and obviously Claire Hoteling, another one of those key people that the Knights really are depending on today and maybe for the next week or so.
Yeah.
Good dig there by the Knights, but Crockett not able to get it over to a teammate, so it's 11-6. Good beginning here in set one for the Knights. They had a good start last night against Salisbury. Taking the first 2 sets, nearly sweeping that match last night, but winning it in 4 sets. Crockett will set up Tiggs. Good block by Southern Virginia again at the net. That one is saved by McKinley Knight. That time Knight not able to get to that shot to make it 11-7.
Yeah, in this particular rotation, we'll call this rotation 1, where the setter is in the right back, it's usually Allred on the right side of the court, but right now they've switched so that it's Gwynn in the front row.
Knights trying to take advantage, and they do with the service error by the Wolverines. So now the Knights lead here 12-7.
And Gwynn, a good server. Let's see if where Wesley goes there in rotation 1 as well.
And Gwynn with a service error.
Yeah, it was very interesting last night, the number of aces that the Knights had, 16 aces. If they can duplicate that, that'll be hard to beat.
12-8 now is your score. Knights get it back across without a kill shot attempt. Good block. That was Kaylee Rath and higher. Good save there by Rath. Over to Tiggs, and the Knights get the point.
It's a good blocking system that the Knights employ. They help in the middle when the other team is hitting in the middle. They have 2 blockers on almost every single set. They're very good at blocking.
McKinley Knight serving this time, but she is too strong with her serve. Another error.
Yeah, 2 in a row. That's a no-no. There are times you just don't want to miss, and that's one of them. You never want to miss when someone else missed before you did.
You know, Tom, you talked about how the Knights were great when it comes to service aces last night, but they also had a lot of service errors, and they certainly don't want to repeat that today.
Yeah. In the first few sets last night, they had, I don't even know if they had a missed serve. They may have had 1 or 2, but in that third set that they lost, they did have a number of missed serves, and now it's 13-10.
And the Wolverines are very silently creeping back into this one after they were down by 6. Tiggs with a blast. That is saved by the Wolverines. The set will go to the left side this time for the point for Kaylee Rath.
Yeah. Kaylee Rath is the one that's taking the spot of Allred, and she has a good arm. If she can take a big load this afternoon, I think that that's really good for the Knights and not so good for Wesley.
She's 5'11". Hoteling will now serve for the Knights. 14-11 now after the Hoteling error.
Is that 3 in a row?
That's 3 service errors in a row, I think.
Well, that's a double or a triple no-no to do that, yeah.
Without any aces, I believe.
That is correct. Yeah, last night 16 aces and I think 11 missed serves. So you would take that ratio, but not right now, not today.
To the other side, they go to Lowness, and that one's too strong.
Yeah, slide, and the Knights are getting better at hitting slides, but that one was out.
And so here comes the Wolverines coming back here in set 1. The Knights really need a point here. It'll go to Gwynn. Good dig there by Gwynn.
That looks like it should be a touch, yes, off the block.
And the Knights.
They
didn't call a block.
Now the lines person is going to call a touch, and the referee will call the ball a point for the Knights.
So that's the right call. It was to me it was an obvious
It was
touch.
pretty obvious from this angle anyway that it went off the block.
And so the Knights have, I believe, their 15th point.
It is, boy, it sure looks like 13-14.
I think they just need to set it back to 15-12 on the scoreboard. It was 14-12, I believe, when they had that point. There's a point for the Wolverines.
There it goes. They put the point up during the play.
So it should be 15-13 now.
Now it says 15-13.
And the Wolverines are on top by 2. Still a very tenuous part of the game here. Set 1 for the Knights. They really need to get a couple of points in a row. Crockett mixing it up at the net. Good block by Southern Virginia. Knight will set up Gwynn. And that is blocked by the Wolverines. A good block by the Wesley Wolverines. It looked like Tanya Rounds, one of the players there, to block it for the Wolverines. And that pulls now them within a point.
Yeah, just not a lot of open swings right now for Gwynn. Let's see if there's a little bit better play
no returning
for the Knights.
that one. 16-14. Here's where the Knights really need to go on a 2 or 3 point run just to kind of give them a little cushion here in set 1. Lowness will serve. We saw her last night getting some serves up into the ceiling fan drift. And there's a serve that is going to be a ace to make it 17-14. So the Knights have been able to run off a couple of points in a row after the Wolverines got to within a point.
Yeah, when Lowness serves the ball, we're right above her and behind her. You can see how much that ball moves when she's serving.
Good low serve there for an ace.
Wow, the Knights seem to own home court advantage of hitting the net and the ball going over on serve so far.
And a timeout is taken as the Knights have been able to run off 3 straight points to go from 15-14 to 18-14. Do coaches look at the service ace versus surface error as a plus minus, and as long as you've got more aces than errors, you feel pretty good about that category?
You do, actually. If you look at high-level volleyball like in the Olympics, you look at that figure a lot.
I like it at the football. I mean, we had 4 turnovers, but we got 8 turnovers, so it's plus 4. You know,
if you had to say it that way, of course that's what you would do. And when you're serving, you're going to take a little more risk. If you're playing a good team, you kind of have to take a little risk when you're serving, and some of those balls will go out. But Lowness, let's see what she does out of the timeout and see if she can make the ball move. If you look at the ball, it doesn't have any spin, and that's when the ball really kind of goes back and forth.
Don't know if Haley tries to get it somewhere in the conjunction, I guess, in the vicinity of the ceiling fans to maybe get a little extra wind drift. That was a good solid serve there.
Good serve.
And that one is out.
Oh, it's a big advantage to have Layton in the back row. Layton's one of the best passers on the team. She's a libero, and when she's in the back row, they have a lot of ball control, and that was a good eye by her to let that ball go long.
19-14. Another strong serve by Haley Lowness. And a great dig by Layton. And that one is out.
Great. Let's give credit to Layton again on that one. What a great up. Like I said in the back row, the plus that we have, or that the Knights have today, is to have Layton be able to dig and to pass when she's in the back row.
20-14, and a rare error for Haley Lowness as she'll come out and McKinley Knight will come back in. At the very beginning, we talked about Allred being out, and we were really kind of focused on the front court players who might take her spot. But, she does a great job all over the court, not just the kills, but the digs as well, and that is where Layton is really helping out.
Absolutely.
22-15.
Another good pass.
To Gwynn. And
a kill.
The Knights now lead 21-15.
15, yeah.
Knights are in good position here if they can try to finish off set 1. Trying to start this match with a little momentum.
Yeah, I don't think Wesley's figured out exactly how to block Gwynn. Gwynn has a lot of power, and just how to block her is going to be important for Wesley the rest of the way.
Good serve by Crockett. Wolverines get it back across. Crockett will set up higher.
Good up.
Good block. They'll go over to Tiggs. Another good block, but no one able to grab that one for the Knights.
Boy, it sure looked like that ball might have touched the antenna from our angle, but no call. So Looks like it's a point for Wesley.
21-16 now. And so serving for Wesley will be Vogelsang. Tegan Vogelsang was the Knights' lead right now is 5. Crockett to Tiggs. Oh, boy, she snuck that in the right spot.
Now that was rotation 1 once again, where it puts the Teagues left-handed, it puts her left front, and the Knights choose to just leave her on the left front and hit on the left side, and that time was a nice angle with no one there to dig.
6-point lead here for the Knights. Good block again by Southern Virginia. Rath and higher that time. But the point will be awarded to the Wolverines.
Oh, they called a net, it looks like, on the block. 17-22.
5-point lead for the Knights. Wolverines serving. Knights trying to put set 1 away. They go to Tiggs with a little touch. Now over to the right side for Tiggs.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Knights get it back across somehow. What teamwork. Not able to return that one, though.
Yeah, some good ups. The Knights are doing very well right now defensively. I think that's one thing when you have some shorter people come back come in the back row, and it's not always shorter the better, but they're usually the defensive players. They're being very scrappy right now, for example, right there.
Oh, what a dig there by McKinley Knight. Over to Rath. Now Knight to Crockett to Hire. Good block by Hire.
Oh, no.
And it's going to go out for the Knights.
Boy, it's a long rally. It's always
Knights.
good to win the long rallies.
And they only need 2 points here to take set 1.
23-18.
Knight will serve. Wolverines just get it back across. They go to Tiggs. Block, but it's going to be a point for the Knights, and now it is set point here in set 1. See if the Knights can pick up this set point and win set 1.
Let's see if someone swings hard.
It'll be
from
Gwynn.
the back row, yes.
Good block by Lonis.
Oh, they're going to call a lift. When you attack the ball, you really can't direct the ball with your hands. So if you're going to set the ball over, you kind of have to go in one direction, and it really can't bobble in your hands either. So 19-24.
Okay, let's see if the Knights can get this point here. It's Lonis with the little tip. And she really couldn't decide whether she wanted to go soft or hard on that. It's 24-20.
Just a little tentative here for the Knights in this first set with getting a lot of good just contact with some swings.
Gwynn, long shot there. Good block by Lonis. Knights trying to finish off set 1 here. Lonis. There you go, Crockett over to Tiggs. Wolverines hanging in there. And that's a point for the Wesley Wolverines.
21.
When will the Knights, you think, yep, right here, they're going to call a timeout. They don't want to get it any closer. They still have several opportunities here to put set 1 away, but they've seen the Wolverines rip off 3 straight points to go from 24-18 to 24-21.
Yeah, now if you're the Knights, what do you think the coach is saying to the team? If it were me, I would talk about let's get a good swing at the ball. We don't need to be fancy right here with anything that's a low set, very quick set. Just let somebody swing, and good things are going to happen. I'm guessing, is it Gwynn that's in the front row? I'm guessing that if it's Gwynn in the front row, she's going to just get an easy swing at the ball here and probably put – no, it's Rath. Rath on the left side now, number 20. I wouldn't be surprised that on any marginal pass, Rath is just going to get a big swing at the ball.
See if the Knights can put this set away. It'll be Tiggs, but that's going to be too strong. It's 24-22.
Yeah, they need some good passing right here.
Knights still have a couple more opportunities to put set one away without maybe going into a little overtime action here in set one. It'll be Crockett to Loness. And the Knights are able to grab that point and hang on 25-22.
Yeah, that ball went off the block, and it was a decent block, but just out of bounds for set point.
Well, no, Tom, I know you always talk about how maybe of all the sets, maybe set two is perhaps one of the more critical ones, but at least today, without Allred, maybe that first set, it was important for the Knights to get this match off to a good start and maybe start to gain some confidence playing without their top player, the CAC Player of the Week, at least for tonight.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. To win that first game and kind of get that under your belt, that's important. And Rath, I bet you see Rath now, number 20, get a few more swings. She's got a very nice arm, and they're doing well in all the other areas. I think their confidence now is just going to be stronger for the second set.
So the Knights win that first set 25-22. And, looking beyond today, the Knights will go on the road for the next few games, the next few matches. They're going to go to, on Tuesday, to Shenandoah. Then next Saturday, they've got Frostburg in basically a doubleheader match. But obviously their focus will be on that match with Frostburg, another conference match there. And then the following Tuesday at Hollins before they return home. It won't be until October the 13th and Saturday, October the 14th, when they'll play York on the 13th and then Penn State, Harrisburg, and Bridgewater on Saturday, October the 14th. So the Knights will be basically on the road for nearly 2 weeks.
Schedules are always interesting. You look at them as a coach, and you say, well, we've got to do this at this part of our schedule, and we've got to rest here. You even plan days of practice, whether they're harder or not as hard, depending on what you have travel. Travel is a lot harder than some people realize. 2 weeks on the road is quite a bit.
But, again, only 3 matches in those 2 weeks before they return home on October the 13th. And we're hoping, obviously, that Hannah Allred is back by then maybe. And, of course, only one conference matchup, the one against Frostburg, in that span of almost 2 weeks on the road. And so that's good news, obviously. The Knights hopefully can get the win today here, Tom. Maybe go to Frostburg next Saturday, get the win, and then they're ready to go for another big home weekend, October the 13th and 14th.
Yeah, for the Knights, I think it's very important to be healthy and have everybody contribute against Frostburg. Frostburg is always one of the top teams in the conference. There are two or three of them that just come to mind that are always in contention to go to the NCAA playoffs.
Yeah,
Frostburg is one of them.
12-6 on the season. Newport, by the way, is 14-3.
Yeah, and Newport being the other one that comes to mind. So Frostburg is a big match, and it's on the road. But last night was a big match for the Knights, and now if they can just get 1 or 2 on the road, they're in great shape.
And I believe Frostburg is playing Salisbury today. And, for teams like Salisbury that lost to the Knights last night, and certainly for the Wolverines here today, these are the teams that start on the road and don't want to go in their first weekend in conference play 0-2.
Oh, absolutely. I've been there. I've been on both sides, 2-0, 0-2, and it's a big difference.
I know you can tell your team and you can tell yourself, it's just the first weekend, guys. We got a long, long way to go, but still 0-2 is 0-2.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what do the Knights have to do differently here? Like maybe cut down on the errors and try to get a few more aces?
Yeah, I also think that I don't know how to put this the best way, but even Gwen, she's got a decent kill percentage right now, but she hasn't swung at a lot of balls, just real easy swings where the ball's just set in an area where she doesn't have to go fast or slow inside or too far out. Maybe just the location of the setting to especially the outside hitters could be a little bit better this set.
Knights will begin set 2 serving with Layton, who had a very good first set for the Knights. And the Wolverines right off the bat pick up the kill to begin set 2. That was Nadia Hopkins, and she's 5'9" out of Manassas, Virginia.
Yeah, those are some powerful players, and 5'9" as a middle is not very tall, but she's got a good arm.
Knights will try to get the point right back. Wolverines get it across. Crockett setting up Gwynn for the point.
Yeah, now, if you could tell by watching that, that was kind of an easy swing for Gwynn. When she gets an easy swing at the ball, it's usually a put away.
Knights will try to do what they did last night, and that is win set 2 to go on top 2-0 and really put the opposition in a big hole. Lowness with a good serve, and
wow.
They caught that crosswind maybe again.
I'm guessing that Lowness is the one that moves the ball around the most. She starts way back into the court and just hits the ball hard and lets the wind or the air
I was going
current
to say,
take
I mean, is it the movement of her serve? Is that just her serve, or is that the wind, or maybe a combination there?
It's a combination.
And I don't say wind so much as the ceiling fan, a little drift here and there, perhaps.
Yeah, our guys haven't really thought that the fans come into play a lot, but maybe they do when you're floating a serve from that far back. And that was an ace by Wesley.
Yeah, that was a good serve there by Clifford, the freshman, who snuck it in on the right side. And Gwynn.
Looks like she put it through. The block just didn't reach over the net, so it's 3-3.
And a good kill there by Gwynn to make it 3-3 as Hoteling will check out and Allison Tiggs will check back in as Crockett will now serve for the Knights in this tie 3-3 in set 2. Knights trying to get the block, but they jump too early and it sails over the blockers into an unguarded area, and the Knights now trail 4-3.
Yeah, now there are teams that play a man up, it's called, where they put somebody behind the block to cover all the tips. And some teams play a perimeter defense where all the back row kind of stands farther back for a swing. And the Knights choose to play a perimeter defense, and it's a little harder to pick up the tips.
4-3 is your score. Wolverines on top by 1. They go to Gwynn, and she's able to sneak it in.
Wow, she really directed that ball. It's almost like, oh, there's the open spot just as she swung and put it right there. That's a great swing.
And it's 4-4. Now Gwynn will serve. Trying to avoid that service error that she had in set 1. Good block by Southern Virginia. Was that Tiggs, I think?
Yep, Teagues got all of it that time. They'll call that an assist block because 2 blockers were up, but Teagues kind of got all of it in her arms that time.
Knights take a 5-4 lead as they try to get a little momentum going here in set 2. Good serve. And the Knights pick up the point. Boy, Gwynn found the open spot on the right side, and from the Wesley standpoint, Tion Graves-Brown was able to get a hand on it, just not much more.
Yeah, these are so now they have a number of aces, the Knights do, so they're getting better with their ratio that you talked about.
6-4 Knights. They'll go to Tiggs, and I believe it's a double hit on Wesley.
Yep, they called a double or a lift.
7-4 Knights.
Now, if you get a chance to watch the Knights block, you'll see that they pinch or they bunch inside with 2 blockers. All blockers are inside, and then they swing block when they go outside to block. It's a good system if you want to watch their blocking.
Knights have gotten 4 straight points, and another call goes against Wesley.
Yeah, called the setter for a lift.
8-4. Knights have now run off 5 points in a row after they trailed 4-3.
You know, my focus really isn't on the setters, but they sure have called a lot of lifts. The referees do tend to be a little tighter, some of them, and others a little bit looser on their calls.
And another miss hit by Wesley, and the Wolverines might need a timeout here because they've given up 6 points in a row, and there comes the timeout.
Yep. I think you should start calling the timeouts. You're good at this.
Well, it seems like most coaches, especially when you get a run of 5 or 6, they almost feel inclined to call a timeout to really stop the other team's hot streak.
Yeah, you can just kind of feel the momentum as a coach, and you as well as the announcer. You can just feel when it's about time to stop the other team's momentum, or else you'll be in real trouble. Okay,
so if you're Nicole Gwynn, how do you keep this momentum going here in set 2?
Well, all I can say is what I talk about when I call a timeout. If we're up and the other team calls the timeout, I usually concentrate on what we're doing well offensively. And if we're calling a timeout because we're behind, I usually talk about what we need to do defensively. Or maybe I even said that just a little bit different. We should do something defensively now if it's the other team's timeout. And when we're behind, what are we going to do on offense?
And right now it seems like a lot of players who haven't been seeing maybe as much playing time as they have been today are really stepping up. Number 1, Delaney Layton. Number 20, Kaylee Rath. Really just all across the board.
Yeah, and Rath right now, number 20, is in the front row. That's the outside hitter position, and that position just gets naturally the most number of swings. And so if Rath can really step it up here, that's very good for the Knights.
Let's see if the Knights can keep this hot streak going. 6 points in a row, 9-4 lead.
Probably to Rath.
Yep, and Rath got it over, and it's knocked out of bounds by Wesley. Wesley just seems like some of their players are having a hard time hitting the ball. It looked like 28, Clifford, who's really had, of course, that good serve, but it looks like she has struggled on the initial hit for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with the block for the Knights.
Gwynn coming up big there. And it'll be Rath getting it over. And a miss hit by Wesley. Crockett will set up Tiggs.
I think they called a lift on the Knights.
On Crockett?
It must have been on Crockett.
Yeah. So that's finally gets a point for the Wolverines.
Again, without really concentrating on the setters. That's a lot of close calls, it seems.
10-5 is your score. See if the Knights can keep this cushion as opposed to letting the Wolverines go on a run, and that's 2 in a row for Wesley. It's 10-6.
So Laree Crockett would like nothing better than just to stand there and set the ball. So with a good pass, there's a pretty good pass, and a little bit easier swing.
They'll go to Gwynn. Whoa, what a shot by Gwynn.
Yeah, Gwynn seems to have that spot in the back row. They're very confident in her hitting from behind the 10-foot line. And that's in women's volleyball, that's kind of rare, but Gwynn has a good skill in doing that.
11-6, Knights by 5, and that is going to be a service error on McKinley Knight. That served just too long. It's 11-7 now. Still, the Knights are in pretty good shape as long as they can maintain this cushion, Tom.
Yeah, I do think that they match up very well against Wesley. They just need to play their game.
Had a problem on the set that time. It was too far for Lonis. Good block by Southern Virginia. That was Rath and Lonis. Mostly Rath, I think.
Yeah, and it gets to be a little frustrating as a hitter if the blockers are always there, and the Knights right now are very disciplined where they're putting their hands to block.
Tiggs will serve. Good serve, and some miscommunication on the part of the Wolverines. A couple of players couldn't decide who was going to get it. It went in between them, and the Knights get the ace.
13-7.
Knights now by 6. Trying to maintain control here in set 2 after they won set 1. Another good serve. Great play by Tiggs that time as the Knights get it back over, but Rath not able to finish, and now it's 13-8.
You know, not that any particular player, but anyone who hasn't played for a little while in matches for a significant amount of playing time, it just takes a little time to get in a groove and how hard you can swing and get going. And right now, Rath, I've seen her just really swing hard at the ball. We're still kind of waiting for that in this particular match.
Lonis had her shot blocked, and the Knights still get it back across. They're a little out of sync right now. We'll see what happens. Great dig there by the Knights. Knight with a dig, Crockett with the set. And Rath used her left hand, it looked like, to tip that one over. Another good dig by the Knights, but they're not able to return it.
Yeah, again, that whole series, really not a chance to get a good swing at the ball. It's usually from the pass itself and not getting the ball high enough that the setter can comfortably get underneath it.
Crockett will set up Hotailing this time. It is blocked, and Knights cannot get it back across, and the Wolverines come up with another point.
Yeah, 13-10.
So that's 2 in a row for Wesley after the Knights had jumped out to a 4 or 5 point lead. Now the lead is down to 3. Crockett will set up low Ness. Who will they go to this time? It's going to be Rath.
Rath, yeah, just hit it long.
Now it's 13-11. And the Knights are going to use a timeout after the Wolverines had scored 3 straight points to go from 13-8 to 13-11. So this set 2 is still anyone's set, with the Knights having won the first set 25-22.
Yeah, you could feel once again that the momentum looked like it might be starting to switch. So a timeout just to gather themselves once again. You know, it's very interesting what do you do when you run out of timeouts? And teams get very sophisticated in what to do. They might undo their shoelace and ref, my shoelace is undone. I've got to tie my shoe, or I've got to get the towel and wipe the floor. There's some sweat
here. No
here.
one does the old, little twist there. I'm going to limp off very
exactly.
slowly.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in volleyball too much, but I guess I have seen that one.
Or perhaps have a player who's coming out of the game with a substitution ask maybe a question of one of the linesmen just to buy that extra 5 or 10 seconds for the coach to shout out some instructions.
Yeah.
Knights trying to get a big point here after they surrendered a 5-point lead, and it's down to 2. Crockett to Gwynn, and she couldn't get it over the net. And the Wolverines on a big run now in set 2.
Yeah, 13-12. Yeah, Gwynn swung hard at that, but just didn't have the approach, a long approach that's necessary from the back row.
See if the Knights can finally snap this streak.
There's a good hard swing.
That's Kaylee Rath.
I think that's what Rath needs to do, is just swing hard at the ball and not worry too much about the block.
And right now, the Knights really need to go on a little 2 or 3 point run themselves to get that cushion back. It's only a 2-point lead right now with Layton serving.
Yeah, Layton in the back row digging and passing, and Gwynn in the front row. This is a good combination now for.
Good block, but it's out of bounds.
Yeah, just didn't reach over with the hands on blocking. But again, for the next 3 rotations, this is their strength for today. Gwynn in the front row.
14-13, Knights by 1. And a miss hit there by Layton. Good serve by the Wolverines, and they have drawn even at 14. Critical moment of set 2 after the Knights won set 1 and seemed to be in control of set 2. Now suddenly it's tied at 14.
That's right.
They go to Gwynn. Good hard strike there. Returned, though, by the Wolverines. They go to Gwynn again. It is blocked by the Wolverines. They've got the lead here, 15-14.
Wow, it's a pretty big turnaround right here. I'm still confident that the Knights can come back with Gwynn swinging at a ball. They might go to Lonis if they can right here.
Knights really need this point. Wolverines get it back across. Knights will try Gwynn again. Well, the Wolverines are on a big roll now. 16-14 Wesley.
Yeah, if you're Crockett and you haven't had a lot of success for the last 3 or 4 points, you probably go to somewhere else.
And a service error cost Wesley. It's 16-15. Lonis will serve. We'll see if she can get her service magic working on these serves to try to pull the Knights even and maybe give them the lead back eventually.
Yeah, that's a big mistake by Wesley just to miss that serve.
But an error on Lonis' part makes it 17-15.
Yeah, just to talk about Lonis' serve, she is the one that has pretty high risk. She gets back and hits it hard and lets it float, but it also comes with some service misses.
Great tip there by Crockett, but the Wolverines were able to get on top of it. Good block by the Knights. They'll go to Gwynn this time. It is blocked and blocked out of bounds by the Wolverines, so now it's 17-16. Again, this set is really anybody's set right now. Critical moment for both teams. Knights within 1. They can try to tie here with the Larry Crockett serve.
Yeah, this is a good chance for the Knights. They need to get a few points while Gwynn is still in the front row.
Good low serve by Crockett, and unhittable on the return by Wesley, and it's now 17-17.
If you look at this serve by Crockett, if the ball spins at all, it takes the float away. The air current in the gym just really can't act on the ball like it if it's spinning at all. See, there's that spin. It kind of goes true.
Wolverines will get the point.
Yeah, good swing there on the right side of the court.
18-17, Wesley by 1. Coming into serve now is Vogelsang, the junior from Salisbury, Maryland. Wesley by 1. Who will Crockett set up this time? It's going to be Gwynn again.
Yeah, just not an easy swing once again.
Yeah, she looked a little bit off balance.
Yeah. Just how high it goes and how far away from the net, how too deep, too short. It just all needs to be consistent.
19-17, Knights really need this point. And Gwynn with a good kill, but it's returned by the Wolverines, blocked by the Knights. They'll try Gwynn again, and she couldn't get it over again.
Yeah, it's getting time. So is it 19-17? 20-17.
Yeah, 20-17. Knights now down by 3. They led here in set 2 at times by 4 or 5 points, but now trailed by 3. Knights barely able to get that one back over. Tiggs doing the honors. Now it'll be Wesley trying to get the kill, blocked by the Knights. Another attempt by the Wolverines. They find the opening, 21-17.
Yeah, they're just kind of out of sync more than anything else. Just not getting a good clear swing at the ball, a good set, a good pass. They just need to get back in sync right now, the Knights do.
I believe at one point, I might be off by a point or two, but I thought at one point here in set 2, the Knights led 13-8. If that is the case, they have been outscored here 13-4 in the past few minutes. And if the Knights had been able to maintain that 4 or 5 point edge and win set 2, they would have put Wesley in a big hole. Now the Wolverines trying to get 4 more points to pick up their first set victory of this match and draw even, but maybe take the momentum away from Southern Virginia too.
Absolutely. And again, it's critical, the momentum right here, even if the Knights are not fortunate enough to come back and win this set. They need to get going for the next set. And as you watch this server for Wesley, it's an interesting serve. If the camera can pick that up, I'm not sure. Number 22 is serving the ball. She takes a little hitch before she serves the ball, and then she jumps off her right foot, and that's not usually done.
Yeah, I was going to say we've seen a lot of different serves, but this one's rather unique.
Everyone has their own style. After a while, you probably just don't mess with it too much.
See what the Knights can do here. They're trailing by 4 now. Gwynn again. Good dig that time by the Wolverines, who seem to be doing everything right here in set 2.
That's right.
It'll be Gwynn again. And somehow the Wolverines get it back across again. A little tip over by the Knights. Throws the Wolverines off momentarily, but again they get it back across. They try Tiggs, and again a dig by the Wolverines. And they're going to get another point. 22-17 Wesley.
Wow, Wesley really is on a roll. Sometimes when you get the momentum, you just it's hard to stop. Again, this interesting serve.
Knights trying to find a way to come back, but now they're down by 5. They'll try Gwynn again. And that one is not returnable. It's 22-18, and we'll see if the Knights are able to take advantage of Gwynn's kill and maybe go on a 4 or 5 point run to try to get back into this set 2.
Yeah, they finally put Gwynn on the left side of the court to swing at those balls instead of the right side in rotation 1.
Gwynn serving. Blocked by Southern Virginia. That was Hire and Tiggs. Mostly Tiggs, I believe. It's 22-19.
I really haven't kept track for Wesley who the hot hitter is right here, but that's what they should be looking for, is who can put the ball away.
Knights will try to pick up another point if they can here. It'll be Tiggs. Blocked by the Wolverines. They just barely get it back across. Now they'll try on the left side. Blocked again by the Wolverines. Gwynn gets it over and gets the point.
Yeah, Rath had a swing at the ball, but it was kind of a lower set for her. But then in the back row, and Wesley should have been ready for that. A lot of times you don't have a great swing from the back row, and they should have been ready for that roll shot.
So after the Knights get 3 straight points, the Wolverines call a timeout to try to slow down Southern Virginia's momentum after they were down 22-17 and seemingly out of this set. They've now made it 22-20, and if they can keep on going after this timeout here, Tom, and maybe pick up another point or two, get this thing even, what a comeback that would be here in set 2 if the Knights can come all the way back from being 5 down.
Yeah, this is where home court advantage really helps. If the crowd gets into this and they get another point here, yeah, it's anybody's set. And that makes this serve even more important now. It needs to be a good serve. It looks like Gwen is serving, and she is one of the better servers. So let's see what happens. Wesley, on the other hand, has to pass this ball.
And needless to say, it's a huge set. Being down 2-0 or maybe tied at 1, that would be huge for Wesley to be even in sets as opposed to being down 2-0. But we'll see if the Knights can come all the way back. Right now trailing by 2 and Gwynn serving.
It's a good serve. Not able to get a swing.
And who will the Knights go to? And it's out. On the block. They went to Rath. It's 22-21.
I don't know if you could tell, but that ball went right to Crockett to be able to set the ball. It was an easy set, and Rath that time hit the ball hard.
Gwynn serving. Good serve. Almost unreturnable by the Wolverines. They had a tough time on that one, and they find an open spot. Crockett not able to get there in time. Makes it 23-21.
Yeah, that makes it hard. The Knights missed an opportunity to dig a roll shot.
Now down by 2 again. Miss hit there by McKinley Knight.
Good serve.
Now it is set point for Wesley. After the Knights had gotten within a point, now it's a 3-point lead, and Wesley can put it away right here. And a service error makes it 24-22. Knights still need a couple points here to draw even.
Yeah, if the Knights come back, that's going to be regrettable for Wesley, that particular serve, just in the bottom of the net.
Knight serving and got it over. A tip by Lonis. Now Crockett to Tiggs. And it's 24-23.
Yeah, you saw a lot of players kind of saying, hey, that's a back row setter. But the referee, I was watching the referee make a call saying that the referee contacted the ball below the top of the net, and I'm not so sure that was a good call.
Knight will serve. Knight's trying to tie. Wesley trying to win the set. They go to Lonis. And she gets the point. We're tied at 24. Okay, now the Knights still need 2 more points for the victory, as does Wesley, but it's a brand new set at 24-24.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is a great rotation for Wesley either.
Knight with the serve. Can the Knights get this back over? They'll miss it, and somehow Tiggs was able to react and get it over. They'll go outside to Rath. Wesley will try the left side, and not returnable. 25-24 Wolverines.
Yeah, good point by by Wesley. I think Rath had a chance actually to swing hard, and that's one of those times that I just don't want to hit it out of bounds. But maybe could have swung a little harder.
See if the Knights can keep this going in set 2. Oh, Lonis with the job done. 25-25, and now it'll be Teague serving. Hey, we need a couple of service aces right here. Knights trying to grab set 2 if they can. Wolverines just get it back across. Crockett with a quick tip.
Nice.
And the Knights get the point to go 26-25, and now suddenly it is set point for Southern Virginia.
Oh, that's called a dump by the setter, and I think that's the first time we've seen that by Crockett. What a timely dump by Crockett.
Time for a service ace. And it's out.
Oh.
Didn't need a service error, though, 26-26.
Oh, nerves on both sides. Way back a few points ago, Wesley's going to regret missing a serve, and now the Knights regret missing that particular serve.
Yeah, if the Knights could have nailed that point down, they would be up 2-0 in sets. Instead, set 2 continues at 26-26. See if the Knights can get this point here. Lonis with a great tip, but it's out of bounds, and now Wesley has set point at 27-26.
Yeah, Crockett has a decision to make now. There are only 2 hitters, and one of them is Rath. She hasn't been swinging real hard at the ball. What do you do?
Crockett will set up Hoteling. Now let's see if Wesley can put it away. They do.
Yeah.
Well-earned set victory for Wesley, 28-26. And, Tom, it's fair to say right now, even in sets, heading to set 3 after about a 9 or 10 minute break, that this really is anybody's match.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. It's I think that Knights are going to look back on that and just not inability to get a swing at the ball on set point. That's just too bad. Started with a pass, and not such a great pass, but just not being able to get the ball to a hitter who's going to swing hard. When they go into the dressing room now, I bet you they talk about that. Hey, we just got to get a good swing at the ball each time. We can't be tentative or nervous. We're in control. It's our home court. We're not going to lose here.
Knights had a 26-25 lead, and they wind up giving the last 3 points to the Wolverines. Wesley coming off a 3-1 loss at Frostburg yesterday. That was a gutty second set for them.
Yeah, that a great set for Wesley to come back. Now, if you're that coach or you're Wesley, now you're thinking, okay, now we're back in the saddle a little bit, and we have this opportunity. The crowd's really not affecting us, and we won that set, so now we're in command.
So we'll take a little break here from the Knights Sports Arena. We're all even here in sets at 1 apiece. Set 3 is about 8 minutes away. We'll take a break and come back for set 3 in just a few minutes, so stay with us. Jim Bresnahan and Coach Tom Peterson back here at the Knights Sports Arena, ready to go for set 3 after the Knights and also Wesley split the first 2 sets. The Knights were able to win the first set 25-22. Wesley able to hang on 28-26 in set 2. And Tom, we've got the stats. 2 sets into this match. What really stands out for you?
Well, on the Knights side, one thing that really stands out to me is the number of swings that Gwen has had to take. 34 swings already in 2 sets. If she were to keep doing that, and let's say that it goes 4 or even 5 sets, that might even be a school record by the end.
Could be up around 80 or 90 maybe for the night.
And that's going to wear your arm out. But so that's an interesting stat. But she's hitting 294, which is not too bad, so that's good. From last night, now the Knights only have 7 aces, but 8 service errors.
And right off the bat, Kaylee Rath with the kill to give the Knights the quick lead here in set 3, 1-0. Yeah, it was the Knights leading 26-25 in that second set. Tiggs was serving and had a chance to put things away, but had a service error. The Knights had 8 errors, I believe, service errors in those first 2 sets.
Yep.
Another mishit by Wesley out of bounds, and the Knights jump on top here 2-0. That's exactly what they need after that set 2 loss. They need to get on top here set 3, maybe grab some momentum and try to put Wesley behind the 8 ball early here in set 3.
Yep.
Good dig there by Layton. Gwynn. Good block by the Knights. They go to Gwynn for a little tip, and it's going to be 3-0 Knights.
Yeah, a little. That set was maybe not meant for Gwen even, but she was able to tip it to the open court.
Now Layton ready to serve again with a 3-0 lead. Good strong serve that time. And on the second hit, I believe they went underneath the net for the point for the Knights.
Yeah, 4-0. The other thing for Wesley now, number 10, Graves Brown, she's hitting 467. That's an outside hitter that they need to stop.
Good block. And they go to Gwynn. And she's able to right it along the net and down for the 5th point. 5-0 Knights here. A great start for Southern Virginia here in set 3 if they can keep it going. In fact, I would imagine if they keep it going, we might have a timeout here by Wesley in the next point or 2.
Correct, yeah.
And another miss hit. 6-0. Will the Wolverines, yep, there comes the timeout.
Yeah, it's a good timeout, but I think how you talk to your teams, that's vastly different now. In fact, this happened, is that in the second set did that happen where the Knights were out?
I was going to mention that. I mean, obviously, you would prefer to be up 6-0 than down 6-0. So the Knights are in pretty good shape here early on in set 3, but it's no given. I mean, especially coming out of this timeout. Now, if the Knights can, maybe win 3 of the next 4 points and really start to build a lead, then they're going to be in good shape. But if they let the Wolverines, like maybe yesterday against Salisbury, if they let the Wolverines come right back with 4 or 5 or 6 points, then again, it's just hard to say who's going to pick up this victory in set 3.
Yeah, it is frustrating as a coach to see a big lead, and the tendency for some players is to relax. Sometimes you relax too much and let the other team come back.
I think maybe last night the Knights actually had in one of those sets a 6-0 lead, didn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. Layton will serve. We'll see what they can do right out of the timeout.
Another good serve. I think that ball was, they called a touch on the block, and the ball rolled into the court. That was very close, closer than what people thought.
And the Knights now have a 7-point lead. See if the Knights can keep this string going. And finally, the Wolverines able to rack up a point to make it 7-1.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the setter Crockett really knew where Gwynn was. Gwynn had to go off the court to pass that ball, so Crockett wasn't sure who to set on that one.
Well, in this set, obviously if the Knights can win in set 4, after Wesley gets a point, it's very important for the Knights to come right back and pick up a point and not allow the Wolverines to go on a little run here. It's 7-1. And a good block by the Wolverines makes it 7-2.
So a mini comeback. Again, just an easy swing if they can get a good swing. Gwen on the left side here is their strength.
They go to Gwen. It is blocked by the Wolverines. Gwen will get it back over. Knight to Gwen and couldn't get it over the net at 7-3.
You kind of wonder. Now you saw if the camera picked the approach of Gwen up, she didn't have much of an approach on transition that particular time. You kind of wonder if that many swings, if that's affecting her ability to just get outside a little bit better.
Oh, a much-needed service error, much needed by the Knights, obviously, not the Wolverines, to make it 8-3. And now Lonis will serve, and we'll see if that high-risk, high-reward serve pays off here for the Knights.
Very close, but it was out.
And it's 8-4 now. Knights jumped off top in set 3, 7-0, but the Wolverines have gotten 4 of the last 5 points. Good block by Heyer. There is Layton to Crockett. Hoteling will try to get it back over. Little tip, Crockett right there. Knight for the set. And Gwen gets the point.
You know, we could also talk about points that are earned or not earned. At least some coaches define an earned point as that you killed the ball. The other team earned their points. They killed the ball. But if you just miss your serve or make a mistake and you give them unearned points, it's a lot harder to win.
Gwen was given a gift right there. But the Wolverines get it back over. And Wesley is awarded the point.
I'm not sure what the call was on that. I didn't see it.
So they called a lift maybe. And as you talked about, Tom, it just seems this particular crew has called a lot of lifts.
Yes, they have.
Wolverines serving. Gwen's shot is blocked. Wolverines are starting to go a little roll here. After the Knights jumped on top 7-0.
9-6. Yeah, you could tell that Gwen's a little frustrated after that.
6-2 run here by the Wolverines. Knights really need this point. They go to Gwen again. And do they call another lift?
Yeah, they called a double or a lift on the setter.
9-7.
And I think Gwen did hit that ball wide as well. They need to regroup, the Knights do.
Knights might be taking a timeout here if they don't get this point. We'll see. Crockett to Tiggs. Heyer puts it away. Boy, they really needed that point.
Yeah, that was a good time for Heyer to come in. She just doesn't have a lot of swings right now in this match, and that was a good swing by her at that time.
And Rath will check in for Layton. Serving is Gwen. Good block by Tiggs. Tiggs and Heyer right there.
You know, when you do get a block, we call it a stuff, and that directly results in a point, and you get to celebrate. That can get you going as well. So it's important to get a block. 11-7.
And Gwen serving again. Knights trying to build that lead back up. They've had it up to 7. Right now it's 4.
Oh, another double on the setter. Lots of doubles or lifts.
Is that kind of confused both coaches and teams, these kind of calls?
Well, you know, what I think what's more important is that they're consistent. So sometimes they're not calling it tight and sometimes loose. If they're consistent, then you can kind of start knowing what to do.
12-7, here's Tiggs. It is saved somehow by Gwen, but it's out of bounds, and it's 12-8. Knights have had a 7-point lead. They started the set 7-0, but now the lead is 4. Still, the Knights are in pretty good shape as long as they don't allow the Wolverines to go on any sort of run right now.
That's exactly right. Be consistent.
Crockett setting up. Rath, and the point goes to Southern Virginia. Big point there, 13-8.
Yeah, you could tell that was kind of an easy set and a decent swing there by Rath. If just give her the ball, let her swing hard, tell her to swing hard, good things will happen.
And McKinley Knighton will now serve. Quinn, Crockett, now it's Lonis. Good block by Southern Virginia right there. Knights will set it up for Rath, and she got it in. She snuck it into an unguarded area, 15-8.
That was a good get by number 20, Rath. The ball was pushed over her head just a little bit. She was able to draw her arm way back and roll it into the court.
We might be looking at a Wesley timeout if they don't get another point or two here in the next couple of minutes. Great play there by Gwynn. She got it over to Crockett. Knights were able to get it over. Now who will they set up this time? It'll be Gwynn. And she snuck it into an area.
Wow.
But somehow, and the Knights will get the point.
Again, that's a mistake by Wesley, I think, that when someone's hitting from the back row, especially in women's volleyball, the front row players, if they're not going to block, they better pick up the tip or the roll shot.
Knight's serve was long. Wesley returns. Crockett. Knight will do the setting this time for Tiggs. Great dig, and the Knights cannot get it back over.
15-9.
Still, the Knights have a 6-point lead here. We'll see if they can keep it going, and the Wolverines are trying to go on a 4 or 5 point run themselves. Tiggs blasts that one home. 16-9 Knights.
Yeah, that was kind of a low set, and Teagues did a nice job of just hurrying to get to the ball and able to swing with a very fast arm swing.
Tiggs will serve now.
What are they going to call here? It looked like maybe somebody touched that ball going out. Teagues, but no, he said that there was no touch on the block or the dig, so
and the
ball
Knights
was
now
hit
have
out.
An 8-point lead, 17-9.
Very comfortable lead now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would think this would almost be a lead you can't lose, especially on a serve like that by Tiggs and make it 18-9. I'm sure the Wolverines will say, well, this set doesn't appear to be going our way. We'll try to get a little momentum for set 4 right now. They're down by 9, 18-9. They call a timeout.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes you do you have to get the momentum going, and that's how you play. Hey, let's try a few things, set some different people, and see if we can make some things change. But that's the serve by Teagues that she could have had in set 2.
Remarkable turnaround here in set 3 after the Wolverines came out with some momentum with that set 2 victory.
Yeah, I think one of the things that does help the Knights today is that they match up well with height. It appears from up here that Wesley doesn't have a lot of tall players. They have powerful players and able to jump well, but the height, I think that's a good matchup for Southern Virginia.
And it doesn't seem that Wesley really focuses on any one particular player like the Knights today are focusing on Penny Gwynn.
Yeah, it would be interesting. We don't have statistics, current statistics, but going into this particular set, Graves Brown was hitting .467, and when you see that as a coach, you say, hey, let's stop that kid, and it'd be interesting to see what she's currently hitting, what percentage.
Really haven't seen her be a factor here.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the Knights can keep this going with an 18-9 lead, and Teague serving here. Good block by Southern Virginia. Gwynn again with a hard hit. This time they'll go to Rath. Blocked by Alonis, but Knight not able to come up with the ball. So it is 18-10. Tiggs will check out here for the Knights, so tailing back in. Knights would really love to finish off set 3 perhaps in the next few points, Tom. They don't want to drag this one out. Want to stay fresh for set 4 if they can.
That's right.
Crockett will set up Rath.
There's a swing.
Miss hit by Wesley makes it 19-10.
No, I think that particular point was set up by Rath just swinging hard. 19-10, so no timeouts now for Wesley, so it'll be interesting to see how they can try to get the momentum going.
Rath is out. Layton is in. I think we have another double hit or
yeah
called.
That was a tight pass.
20-10 now. Knights on top here by 10 points.
Important to get the momentum going, either team, into the next game or the next set.
Crockett going to set up Lonis with a little tip. Right there is Layton. Gwynn blasting that ball. Now Crockett will go to Lonis over on the right side. Blocked by the Knights. Good block again by Southern Virginia.
Oh.
Gwynn and Lonis.
The referee called no touch on that block. It could have been, but that's right in front of the referee who has the best view.
21-10. The Knights won the first set 25-22. Wesley took the second one 28-26. Knights trying to make short work of Wesley here in set 3. Hoteling will get it over. Lonis over to Crockett. That might have been going out.
That's close.
Blocked by Gwynn again. Gwynn and Lonis right there. 22-10 Knights. Amazing the way, especially how tight set 2 was, that the Knights been able to jump out to a 12-point lead now.
Yeah, the Knights really, that 10-minute break, if you're the team that's down, it can really turn things around.
3 points to go, and Layton with an error. 22-11 now.
Yeah, the Knights need to be careful that they don't change momentum by making errors.
Yeah, it's not so much, giving up 12 points and seeing Wesley forge ahead as opposed to giving up maybe 4 or 5 points and losing momentum.
Exactly.
And there's 2 points in a row for the Wolverines.
12-22.
Wolverines serving down by 10 with an error. And now the Knights need just 2 points for a set 4 win as Lindsey Heyer will check back in for the Knights, and out goes McKinley Knight with Lonis serving. Always fun to watch her serve to see what happens. That one, though, is going to be an error.
I think we jinxed her by saying that the last few times.
Yeah, I mean, her serves, as we mentioned, high risk, high reward, but it just seems to, here in the last, few serves, that they're going much, much lower.
Yeah, it looks like that to me as well. Oh, there's a good swing. Is that, that's Graves Brown. And that's who I think Wesley has to keep going to if they want to have a chance of winning this.
Might still need 2 more points here. Knight to Gwynn. Little tip shot. And Southern Virginia able to pick up that 24th point. So here we go, set point with Crockett serving.
24-14.
Knights hoping to go up 2-1 in sets if they can get this point. Good block by Southern Virginia. Can Wesley get it back over? They do. Knights will set up Gwynn. And the Knights win that set 25-14.
I'm looking at Gwynn, and Gwynn's taking some deep breaths right there. She's got a lot of swings for this day. I think she can keep doing it, though.
So the Knights now lead 2-1. They are 1 set away from winning their second straight Capital Conference match to open up this 2017 conference season, and that would be huge if the Knights could start the Capital Conference 2-0.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time is to start conference and win against two good teams, actually, to beat two good teams. So it's a great start of the season so far for the Knights.
Especially when you consider the CAC Player of the Week, Hannah Allred, is not playing today because of that minor injury. You know, after last night's match, I was thinking, you know, with everybody healthy and ready to go for the rest of the season, this is a team, I wouldn't say odds-on favorite, but certainly you've got to start talking about the Knights having the realm of possibility, the chance to not only make the Capital Conference tournament this year, which they did not last year, but, hey, to have an outside chance maybe to make the Division III national tournament.
Yeah, each conference has an automatic bid to the NCAAs, and then a committee chooses other teams depending on their ranking and who they're ranking against top teams and how good the committee thinks they are. So the Knights, even if they don't win the conference, the conference is so tough that you can't just, oh, yeah, we're going to win the conference. But if we finish in the top 2 or 3, there is a good shot of going to the NCAA championship.
Which would be just amazing. I mean, this might be one of the first sports for the university, women's volleyball, that, you know, maybe can seriously say, we, you know, have a great chance maybe to make the national tournament. That's obviously if everybody's healthy and the team is playing well.
Yeah, of course, it's early in the season, but so far that's exactly what you can think. If it's good to be a Knight today watching this volleyball match.
And, by the way, the latest for university football for the Knights, they're playing a very tough team at Wesley today. Wesley is usually top 5 or top 10. They're number 23 in the country heading into the game today. A last report in the second quarter, Wesley was on top of the Knights 35-0. In men's soccer, Penn State Harrisburg defeated Southern Virginia today 3-1. Women's soccer was in action also at Penn State Harrisburg. No final score on that match between the Knights and the Penn State Harrisburg Lions in the women's soccer matchup today.
You know, maybe I could say that just belonging to the NCAA, this is only 2 years old now for Southern Virginia, where the teams here can play in the NCAA tournament and be an NCAA team, period. And the teams are just getting better and better. A little shout out, even going up against, in football, going up against such a good team. I just want to say that these football coaches and players, they're just working so hard, and they're going to get a win one of these times, and they're going to get a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the New Jersey Athletic Conference, I know it's one of the better conferences in Division III. I'm not sure it's the best because if you look at the national landscape, it just seems like there's a lot of good Wisconsin teams out there.
Absolutely, sure.
When you look at Whitewater and Platteville and Stout and Oshkosh, you go, wow, that's a pretty loaded Wisconsin conference. And then, you know, even Minnesota's got some pretty good football teams too, like St. John's and St. Thomas.
Yep.
Knights getting this fourth set off to a good start with the first point. Layton serving. Knights would love to have what happened in set 3, a 25-14 victory. Repeat here in set 4 to pick up their second conference win of the season.
Yeah, good placement there on a tip from Wesley. If you notice, the Knights are starting in rotation 5. That's where the setter is in the middle front, so that allows Gwen to start and play all 3 rotations in the front row right to start the match.
Wolverines get the ace. The Knights thought that was going to go long. Hoteling let it go, and it turned out to be an ace rather than an error, so it's 2-1 Wesley. Tynes serving for the Wolverines. Gwynn trying to blast it home. This time they go to Lonis. Good dig there by the Knights. Good point so far. And that time the Knights not able to return that kill, and now the Wolverines are on top here 3-1.
Yeah, the outside hitters for Wesley can really hit a ball hard, and they've had some angle swings from those outside hitters that are kind of impressive.
Well, I believe that is Tion Graves-Brown again with that last kill. Another call, I think, of the lift variety, maybe?
Lift on the setter. I'm not sure when I've seen this many calls on both sides. Ball handling errors.
4-1 now. See if the Knights maybe go with an early timeout here in set 4. Lonis with her right hand with a great move there to make it 4-2. Knights really needed that point.
Yeah, good. Lonis is a middle hitter and middle blocker. And that time, though, in that particular rotation, they have her hit on the pin on the right side.
She has struggled with her serve the last few times, and another error.
Well, 3 misses in a row for Lonis.
Last 2 were short. That one was too long. It's now 5-2 Wesley. Tipped over by the Knights to pick up the point.
A dump by the setter. And a setter, if she can dump that left-handed that she just did at that particular time, it really helps a lot. A lot of setters can't really use their left hand that well.
Crockett on the serve. And the Knights will go over to Gwynn, and that's too strong. And now it's 6-3 Wesley.
Yeah, you kind of wonder with Gwynn. I bet you she just a little bit different in her approach just because of all the swings she's had. She just needs to take one at a time and go as hard as she can. 6-3.
And now it'll be Vogelsang with that unique serving here for the Wesley Wolverines. Knights really need to go on a run here, down by 3. They go to Gwynn. Good dig there by Tynes of Wesley. Tynes with another great dig. And Gwynn is blocked, but the Wolverines will get it back over. They try Gwynn again.
Wow.
Another dig by Tynes. Now Tiggs, another dig by Tynes, over to the right side this time. Good dig by Crockett. And the Knights finally able to get that point. A tremendous
That's a long
point.
rally for sure. Yeah, Wesley got a lot of balls up, a lot of good digs, but just at the end, I actually think both teams were a little fatigued at the end of that rally.
6-4, Gwynn serving. That one's going out. 6-5.
Gwynn is serving, and she's in the back row. If Rath can just keep swinging hard at the ball, they're in good shape. The Knights are.
Miss hit there by Wesley. It cost them 6-6. So the Knights have racked up 3 straight points to go from 3 down to even at 6.
Yeah, we don't have live stats going for us here, but I'd be very curious to see how many swings right now that Gwynn has.
Another miss hit by the Wolverines as 2 players kind of came together, Tynes and Clifford. 7-6 Knights.
Yeah, so Gwynn does it while she's serving.
4 straight points by Southern Virginia. Another solid serve.
Good serve.
Crockett setting up higher to make it 8-6.
I hope they celebrate that one a lot, the Knights. That's one of the very few quick sets in the middle that the Knights have had, and it was by Hire, who doesn't get a lot of sets. That was fun to watch.
2-point lead for the Knights. 5 points in a row. Wesley struggling right now, and a miss hit there by Hire. She had a gift given to her, and she couldn't put it away, and now it's 8-7. So it was a good run by the Knights. 5 points in a row to go up by 2. Now the lead is 1 for the Knights. And that is Rath. I don't think Wesley was expecting that. They were maybe expecting, you think, something from the middle?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Hire, who had just hit that ball before so hard in the middle. So now they're expecting the middle hit and went outside with it. And then Rath put it away with a good swing.
9-7. And an error by McKinley Knight to make it 9-8. These errors have really hurt Southern Virginia today. Obviously, no coach likes to see service errors.
Yeah, but that ratio that you had talked about, aces to errors, is now not in their favor today.
9-8 is your score. Lonis is blocked to the net. Gwynn will try it from deep. Good dig there by McKinley Knight. Gwynn found a little opening.
It'll be a free ball.
And it's 10-8 Knights.
Yeah, that's a mistake by Wesley, not just putting a free ball over. You're not going to get a kill on that. You got to make sure that ball's in the court.
It really does start to look that both teams are starting to get tired here in set 4.
Yeah.
Tiggs will serve. 2-point lead for the Knights. They can win the match if they win this set. Knights get another point, 11-8 Knights.
Yeah, that's another close call, but the referee said that it did not touch the block.
You know, what's not happened so far, I think, here in set 4 that we saw in the first 3 sets was early timeouts.
Yeah, that is true.
But if the Knights keep getting a few more points here, I would imagine Wesley might call one. Knights not able to return that, though, and the Wolverines get the point to make it 11-9. This one's anybody's set right now, even though the Knights have a 2-point lead. Here's where Southern Virginia would really like to go on a 3 or 4 point run to maybe force Wesley to call a timeout and build that 2-point lead to 5 or 6. Crockett will try Lonis, and she drives it home. 12-9 Knights.
You know, Lonis goes off 1 foot. That's a slide, we call it. And she's getting better and better at that. What I've noticed is that she takes off way away from the setter now. She used to run almost directly parallel to the net by the setter. Now it's a little bit farther away, easier to hit.
Dig there by the Knights, by Layton. Good dig by McKinley Knight. Knight will get it over for Southern Virginia. Who will they set this one up for? It's going to be Gwynn tapping it down the line. Good block by Southern Virginia, but not able to get it back over. 12-10.
It's interesting.
Maybe one of these coaches might have to call a timeout, Tom, just to give their teams a breather.
That's kind of true. There's a point where you can just tell, oh, we need this timeout.
Gwynn is blocked. It's 12-11. Knights had that 3-point cushion, but now it's down to 1. And service error on the part of Wesley. That really helps the Knights.
Absolutely. Yeah, these service errors, you can just, sometimes service errors don't hurt you so much if both teams are missing their serves, but when you do it at the wrong time, boy, it's just it's a killer.
How much does fatigue play a factor in the service errors sometimes?
Yeah, I think that's true. It does. If here we got this good rally going.
Lonis gets it over, and double hit on the part of Wesley.
Yeah, I think the service error can occur if you have a serve that's really going low to the net, and if you change that at all, boy, you don't have much room for error. So, yeah, it can affect a good hard serve.
Lonis will serve here with a 3-point lead, 14-11. Wesley just barely able to get that back over. The ball hit the antenna, I think.
Yep. Hit off of Gwynn's hand into the antenna.
To make it 14-12, so now the Wolverines are within 2. Each team trying to find a way to go on a run. They go to Gwynn. Good hit by Gwynn, 15-12 Knights.
That's got to be about the 70th ball that she's hit. That's something that's pretty incredible.
Well, we knew with Allred out today with the injury that Gwynn was going to be asked to do a lot more, and she has. Crockett serving, 3-point lead for Southern Virginia. Great block by the Knights. That was higher.
You could almost see that one coming right into the hands of the middle blocker.
Lindsay higher gives the Knights now a 4-point lead at 16-12. Crockett serving again, trying to further boost this 4-point lead. Tiggs is blocked. but it was a double hit for Wesley, I think.
Yeah, they called a lift once again on just the coverage. I'm not sure if that really was a lift, but the referee seems intent on calling lots of lifts
17 to 12. Surprised that we haven't had a timeout. Maybe if the Unites get this point, we'll see a timeout by Wesley.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe this is getting away from them right here.
We'll see if Crockett can maybe nail an ace. And it's an error instead. 17-13. Every time it looks like they've got Wesley, or chance to put Wesley on the ropes, the Knights let him off the hook. 17-13. Knights still are in pretty good shape here to try to win this match if they can hold serve and hold this lead here in set 4.
Yeah, this is rotation 1 for the Knights. And Teagues, the lefty, is on the left side of the court, and it goes to Teagues.
And the Knights will pick up a 18th point right there, 18-13.
I think that's a big point right there.
As Rath will check back in, replacing Layton.
And it's not always just the point being lost, but how it's lost. You could tell that the outside hitter just almost gave up on that ball.
Gwynn, good serve there, trying to look for a little opening. Knights desperate to get that back over. They did. And now who will they set up here? It'll be Tiggs, and she's going to get it to go in somehow. Wesley looked at that one saying, that's got to be out, and then maybe at the very tail end they were saying, we hope it's out, and it was in.
And it was in, yeah.
So finally a timeout is taken, and right now the Knights are in great shape if they can maintain this advantage.
19-13.
Southern Virginia 6 points away from getting a 2-0 start in the Capital Conference. And again, a long way to go, Tom. They've got the road trip to Wesley next weekend, next Saturday, before they return home for a home doubleheader. Friday the 13th against York, Saturday the 14th against Penn State Harrisburg. That'll be it for home conference matches. They play on the road at Newport and Mary Washington on the 20th and 21st, and then they get St. Mary's and Marymount on the 27th and 28th.
Yeah, when you only play a single round robin against in your conference, then it becomes important where you're playing that team. And some of those teams that they're playing, Frostburg and Mary Washington, those are good teams on the road. It's going to make it tough. So the Knights really do have to win at home probably every single match now.
And I'm sure most coaches will tell you, we'd love to make the Capital Conference tournament. We'd love to be one of the top 2 so we don't have to play that extra match.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Knights trying to get the point, and they do. Picking up point number 20.
Okay, the Knights are much in control, 20-13 now.
And Gwynn serving. Knights need just 5 more points to pick up the match victory. And another miscommunication on the part of the Wolverines.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're really that fatigued or if they're just out of sync right now.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both. It's you can just feel the momentum. 21-13.
Little tip over. Great dig there by Tiggs. That was Rath. Knights block it. And trying to get it back over, they do. Little tip. Crockett sets it over to McKinley Knight. And now Crockett over to Gwynn. And she taps it home.
Boy, it's going to be hard to not win this game now, not win the match. Now, I'd like to just point out, too, McKinley Knight has had just a ton of digs in these last few sets. I bet you she's there for maybe one of her best nights playing.
And Gwynn will continue to serve with the Knights needing just 3 more points for a match victory. And it's out, 23. Now just 2 more points to go. This has been a tough weekend for Wesley, losing at Frostburg yesterday. And unless they can really mount a big comeback, they're going to lose here today to Southern Virginia as Alma Honorable will check in for the Knights.
Yeah, just not the same as in the first set or second set for Wesley.
Wolverines
there's another
They're about done right now.
Wow. Okay, so it's 24-13, match point.
Knights trying to wrap it up. And Gwynn has been doing the serving on this run for the Knights. Dubinsky went over early, I think. Nope. They say the point goes for the Knights. Maybe another lift call, perhaps, on
I think it
Wesley.
was, actually.
So the Knights win it 25-13. And amazing, Tom, after the Wolverines had won set 2, 28-26, and seemed to have momentum going, at least a little bit of momentum going for them, the Knights actually put them away handily in set 3 and set 4, 25-14, 25-13.
Yeah, I think that the one set that Wesley won, I thought, oh, well, they're going to come back and play well, but I did think that the Knights had the advantage because of height, but I really do think that Wesley kind of, I don't know if it's fatigue, but mental fatigue as well, because the Knights are just kind of played a lot more even than what Wesley did today.
And so the Wolverines dropped to 0-2 in the conference and 12-6 overall. Now the Knights are 2-0 in the conference. They are 11-4 on the season, and they have won 7 straight matches.
That is incredible. Coaching staff has to be credited with just an awesome job with getting the team ready, especially with the loss of a player today, but everybody came in and did their job. And 2 matches, 2 wins, and 2 good teams that they played. That's a great start for the conference.
And good to see the fans here at the Knight Sports Arena give them a well-deserved round of applause to the Southern Virginia University women's volleyball team for their 7th straight match victory, and perhaps just as importantly, picking up their 2nd conference win to start the conference schedule. So now the Knights will try to build upon this 2-0 start, Tom. They'll have a 3-game road trip, 3-match road trip coming up for Southern Virginia. Only one of those matches will be a conference match. That'll be next Saturday on the road at Frostburg. But the Knights will sandwich that conference match against Frostburg next Saturday with a couple of non-conference matches, including the next one coming up on Tuesday at Shenandoah.
Yeah, when they play next Saturday, the conference match, of course, that's probably the most important one. We hope that the Knights are healthy in all ways.
Yep.
But it looks like All Red just has a slight sprain possibly right now.
That's
so
what we
she
hope,
should be back, and they should be in great shape.
And, again, the sky is the limit for these guys as far as the Knights are concerned. The Knights women's volleyball team, again, they've got fantastic aspirations now with this 2-0 conference start. Aspirations inside the conference, and who knows, potentially, and we'll see what happens maybe a month or 2 from now, but maybe some national aspirations.
Yeah, and again, winning is contagious, and so now the Knights are just happy with what they're doing, with everything that they're doing. It makes even class schedule and everything else a lot easier when you've won some games.
Probably makes practice easier too, right?
Exactly.
So congratulations once again to the Southern Virginia University Women's Knights volleyball team as they have picked up their 7th straight match victory. And again, they are now 2-0 in the Capital Conference. Tom, is there anything they really need to work on? I know they had some problems with today with service errors, but overall, again, they just got a great team effort. I mean, Gwynn, as we talked about, had a lot of chances today, but they got good play from Kaylee Rath. They got good play from Layton. They got good play from McKinley Knight, Laurie Crockett, right on down the line.
Yeah, good overall play. I mean, there are always things that you can work on. I think the Knights are continuing to work on being able to hit. When the setter is in the front row, there are only 2 hitters. And the middle hitter for the Knights right now, it's Lonis, and she likes to hit that ball in front of the hitter or in front of the setter. But she does go for a slide in back. If they can get those slides working a little bit better, that's something that will open up the outside hitter. And then the other thing I would say is their second middle hitting position, second middle blocker we call it, to get a little more production out of Hire and give her some more sets where she's comfortable with what she's hitting, and that will really help even out the team more.
So, again, congratulations to the Knights. They are now 2-0 in the Capital Conference. Again, the Knights defeat Wesley today in 4 sets, 25-22 in set 1. They lose 28-26 in set 2, but they come back for victory by winning set 3 and set 4, 25-14 and 25-13, respectively. Again, the Knights now 11-4 on the season. Congratulations to the Knights. That'll wrap things up here from the Knights Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Coach Tom Peterson, Craig Reese, our director, and our fantastic production staff here at Southern Virginia University. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for Knights Volleyball.